let me start recording. What the hell is that, Lenny?
It's the annual Will Jeffrey Invitational Finals MVP. What
Oh,
a
I
treat.
forgot that. That should not be in that room. That should be in Rachel's room, wherever she is.
Oh, look at this bad boy.
What the hell is that?
The Ultimate Resolution 2023 Spirit winner, Starry Nights Trophy.
Wow,
It's in the Starry Nights Trophy cabinet. Don't you worry about that.
that's impressive that it is stars. Presumably that was just luck.
Just complete luck, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And we celebrated that more than the winners of the tournament celebrated getting their actual trophy.
He
He
has
said he has.
seen it now. He's just seen it, so
Oh, okay.
should be
Yeah.
getting in a minute. Oh,
Oh, hello. I reckon it's probably him.
I would be disappointed if it wasn't.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Hello
There he
there.
is.
It's quite long hair you've got these
See?
days.
Wow.
Cologne.
All right, let me introduce us first, just for the just for the sake of the podcast. All right, well, welcome to episode 8 of the If You Know You Know podcast. First of all, introducing the man who is just sick of all of these water metaphors. It is your host, Mike Price. Thank you, Mike. And joining me this week, as ever, the man, as you can tell by his nickname, completely atrocious, the worst person at disc jousting, 0 for 3. It's Lenny Greenfield. And finally, and I'm just as sad as you are. There's this is the reason why all of the flags you've seen this week have been at half mast. It is our latest eliminator player, Max Beline.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, guys. So yeah, let's get on to it. Max, what's going on with the hair?
It's long. It's long. I want to get a little haircut, but I'm scared because I don't speak Spanish that well. And I'm scared that I'm gonna go and say a little tidy up and then they're gonna get the clippers out and I'm gonna be bald again.
Can't you just show him a picture of what you want? Or
I don't know what I want either.
can we see the sides and the back? It is long. It is long.
Wow,
I quite
It's
like it.
long.
with a mullet
It's
going
I
on.
quite like it as well.
Can you not just go in and be like, oh, like this? For the benefit of all our
Like this.
listeners, I'm holding my fingers close together.
Yeah, but you say that
Okay.
at most barbers and all your hair's gone at the end of the cut.
Mm,
They might assume that that's how long I want it.
that's true.
I want it.
Yeah.
I want it this long.
I say
But
just
it's
keep
okay.
growing it. Just don't
Yeah,
stop.
I've got no reason to to really cut it, and each day it gets more interesting.
Are you still in Colombia?
Yeah,
What's actually going on then? How long have you been in Colombia?
um, almost 2 months, I
Shit.
think. I mean, plays a city called Cali at the moment,
Right.
famous for the Cali cartel.
Ah,
Yeah, but that was a while ago, I think. It's died down, but it's quite a dangerous city generally.
Right, okay. What have you been up to? What are you doing in Kalel or whatever?
Cali. Yesterday, I had a salsa lesson. I was dancing, and the day before that, I went swim. I went to the swimming pool with a. I met a waitress, and I went swimming with her family.
Was she there?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
no, just-
I should bloody hope so.
Did you bring this
Otherwise, it would
waitress
have.
salsa dancing?
No, I didn't. She's much. I think she's much better than me. She'd put me to shame.
Is that on anything other than the fact that she's Spanish slash
She's not
Colombian?
Spanish, Mike. She's not Spanish. I'm
Right,
not in
so
Spain.
Spanish speaking. All right, fine. Latina.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think so. They're very good out here.
what's the general day to day like?
Some days I wake up, I take it slow, I go for a walk. But normally I do stuff with people in the hostel, but I happen to have arrived at a hostel that has literally no other guests. So the last couple of evenings I've spent watching TV with the hostel caretaker.
Is there no
Yeah.
guess because it's a dangerous cartel city? Or
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. It's not a lot of people don't come here.
Have you come here
It's
for
not that it's not that dangerous.
have you come here for a particular reason? Or
It's kind of on the way to the south,
okay.
places that I want to go more. But it's quite nice here. It's quite nice here.
How much longer until you get to Brazil?
Well, that's a tricky one because my plan was to take a boat, but I need to be in Rio in under 2 weeks now, I think,
Oh, really?
which basically isn't possible.
Is that
So
your
I have
flight
to.
back?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm staying for a while. Just gonna fly there. When I was organizing it, I was convinced that I would be in Brazil by then, but I spent a whole month in Medellin, which is Pablo Escobar's city.
Hmm.
You mean?
No, no, I didn't. He was
That's a shame.
out of town.
That's so
I did
unfortunate.
I did see his grave though, which makes me think maybe he's out of town for a long time.
So is this just a holiday? Because I heard rumors of like a martial arts retreat. Is there any of that going on?
Well, my leg still is not great, and I got some results about my leg, and they said they couldn't see anything on the MRI, so I'm a little bit confused. Like I just keep doing my exercises, hoping that one day it's just gonna no
Is it
pain
your where is it? Your like inner thigh?
inner thigh. Yeah,
Is it
Hmm.
your adductor?
I think so. But I also have a weird lump on my abs that I don't know. No one seems to address.
Is that not just one of your abs?
No, no.
One massive ab.
It's quite a small lump.
It's got a
But
one
anyway,
pack.
maybe one day I'll do my martial arts retreat. I had my phone stolen, by the way. So if you message me on WhatsApp, or like I'm not in any of the WhatsApp groups anymore.
Oh, okay. This is the PSA for anyone listening to this.
What are you using now? Just a new phone?
Oh yeah, I bought a new phone. It was very cheap, second hand for what it is. I'm convinced that this phone was stolen from somebody as well.
Would have been great if you bought back your own phone.
Yeah, no, I did look for it, but I couldn't find it. To get from Medellin to, oh no, well, it's from a town south of Medellin to Cali. On the map, it doesn't look like a long distance at all, but in total, I think I was traveling like 11 hours by bus.
Jesus.
You know.
Yeah,
What's the terrain like? Is it very like rainforesty? What's going
yeah,
on?
yeah. You get a lot of jungles, a lot of hills. Um, Send you a few pictures.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Um, I should really make like an Instagram thing, but I don't really like Instagram. But
I enjoyed
Yeah.
that picture of you on the horse.
oh yeah, yeah, I don't have that anymore, unfortunately. It's on my stolen phone.
Oh,
Oh,
do you not
I
have like you should have like Google Photos or something that just
didn't
backs
fucking
everything
back
up.
it up, mate. Didn't think
Yeah.
that day would come where I need to back it up.
how was your phone stolen? Was it stolen like out of your pocket, like out of your hand, out of your
I
bag?
was at I was at the Pride Festival in Medellin, and I was a little bit tipsy. And the group I was with, got two of them got into a bit of an argument, and both left, leaving me with this very drunk owner of this hostel. And I got a bit bored, and thought, oh, it's only 10 minutes home. I'll walk home. And out of nowhere, this Colombian lady grabs my gentleman's area. She says in Spanish, "Oh, take me to your apartment, whatever." And I say, and basically, I was confused. My first thought, this is Pride Festival. There's been a lot of drag queens about. I asked, "Are you a woman or are you a man?" And in this in this questioning period, she's obviously slipped into my pocket and taken my phone.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. I don't know if maybe she was deeply offended. I don't know.
So is the aim then to just stay there but learn Spanish and then be a
Yeah,
teacher?
I learned Spanish for a couple of weeks in Medellin. Um,
That's so
Unfortunately,
cool.
I'm going to Brazil next, but I try and leave Brazil as fast as possible. Maybe slip into Uruguay.
I mean, Spanish and Portuguese, there's a lot of crossover.
There is crossover, but I think it would be better for my Spanish a lot better and more useful in the long run if I sort of keep intensely looking at Spanish rather than taking a break and having to learn a different language. And
Yeah, that makes sense. How does travel work? Can you basically just go wherever in South
yeah,
America? Or
I just spend a few days here or there, maybe just short of a week, and then I look at booking a bus to the next place. And on the
no, I
bus,
just
I
mean
normally
like country wise, can you just
oh
slip
yeah,
in wherever?
when you enter a new country, you need to visit the immigration office to get your passport stamped, and that will activate your 90-day window to
Okay.
stay there.
So
It's
you don't need
important that
to
you
like
do
apply
that.
for a visa or anything.
No, not in many of these countries. I don't think any of them, to be honest.
Okay.
Um, Certainly not Brazil, Colombia.
Well, that's lucky. The ones you go into.
Yeah, very very much so. But the long term plan, I think, would be to. I'm doing a course to teach English, and maybe travel a bit. How I've been doing it for a bit longer, and then settle down somewhere as an English teacher.
What, and all of this will be within South America?
Yeah,
I'm very jealous.
I am also very jealous.
just pop along, guys. Just pop along.
All right,
There'll
maybe
be
the end of
plenty of
the
opportunities for me to host you.
Survivor Southampton season 3.
yeah cartel edition.
Cartoon edition. Oh yeah.
Oh shit! Oh fucking hell!
Mike's normally in charge of running the show, but just a mess today.
It's an absolute.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm normally better than this, Max, but I've been out all day. I got back. I was aiming to get back before 4, so I could plan some questions. But I got in like literally 2 minutes ago. However, I of course have some questions for you. So, Max, could you tell us just a little bit about your past Survivor experience before season 2 specifically?
No, before season 2.
Mm.
Season 1, I believe you're referencing.
Oh, okay. So you hadn't heard about Survivor before that or anything. You just season 1 was your first experience.
Exactly. Season 1 was my first experience. At the time, I think I only I knew TG Robbo and Lenny in the game, and I briefly met some of the others, maybe Noel or something, at a pickup session. So it was a lot of fresh faces, and a new game. And in the first season, I just sort of tried to stay under the radar. I didn't try and do any big plays or anything, just kept plugging away. And I think it got me to fifth place. Impressive stuff.
Could have been even higher if it wasn't for Carolina.
Bloody Carolina. But
If you
she's Colombian, isn't she?
She is, yeah. You should drop her a
Yeah.
message.
Good opportunity to maybe do some damage to her personal property.
Finally get your revenge. You'd be like,
These
hey, I'm in
aren't great here
Colombia.
either.
Hey, I'm in Colombia. Where do your family live? It's like, oh yeah, definitely go see them. Say you're a friend of mine, but you're only going there just to like pick over the hedges.
This is for season 1. Season 1 of what?
No, they know.
They know.
Yeah. If you think about season 1, are there any moments that stick out? Any players, any interactions, any challenges, or anything that happened that you can recall vividly?
Vividly. I remember Oscar got by just by telling the truth. I don't think at any point he lied to anyone or double crossed anyone. And I think I stuck with him a lot. I remember one challenge. I think we had to do a quiz, and each winner could crush somebody's cheese ball with like a little trophy thing. I'd not really made any enemies until that point, and then suddenly people are just randomly crushing my cheese ball, trying to get rid of me.
If it makes you feel better, I think I was first out of the cheese ball challenge.
Oh, okay. I think you were.
immediate.
Yeah, you had a lot of enemies in that cheese ball challenge.
Yeah.
But I think that was the turning point in the game.
Yeah, I think Lenny and Ollie were straight out of that, and probably Noel.
Yeah. I think probably
Perhaps,
Beth and
yeah.
Carolina won it, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I think you're right. It did go down between them, and then yeah, I don't think anyone had gone for Caroline at all challenge actually. So do you think you learned any lessons, Max, from watching Beth's successful game? Do you think you picked up anything that you might have done wrong personally that you thought, let me correct that in season 2?
I remember Beth was very good at the challenges, and that's not something I feel like I can learn. Well, maybe I could have learned over the year in between, but I didn't. Beth didn't try too hard to double cross anyone. She got by on a lot of respect from other players, and in the end, that obviously helped the jury as well.
But you didn't vote for Beth. You voted for Noel at the end, didn't you?
No, I did vote for Noel. Bit of chaos, really.
Was that the main reason? It wasn't that like you respected his game more or anything like that?
No, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Just a man that survives death that many times.
Yeah, exactly.
He deserves a lot of respect.
I think it was like with the fact that he survived from the very first challenge was impressive enough, I think.
He just got votes every fucking round.
He very almost went out in the first round, didn't he? Because he I think you told him the wrong information and he came out of his plank.
No, he did that to himself. He then tried to blame me, but it's completely on him.
I think he picked up like 3 or 4 votes that round. Who actually went out? Was it Sorensen?
No,
Sorensen was immune.
Sorensen was unkillable for the first few rounds. It was Mark we lost in round 1.
The people were banging at Sorensen's door, but they couldn't come in.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your experience with Sorensen, because things got quite divisive between the two of you towards the end of Sorensen's game, from what I can remember.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about not making any enemies and stuff, but I remember picking on Sorensen quite a bit.
You told him he was going out in one of the voting rounds.
It was such an easy target because he arrived late, and he also picked up a stick and started annoying everyone with it. And it was so easy just to go around because there was no clear target. It was just so clear that it had to be Sorensen.
I mean, to be fair, we're talking about the lessons that you learned from season 1, but I will say, of all of the players from season 1, I think your game was probably most like Sorensen's, actually.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, I can't argue with that. I unlearned.
Looking back, do you regret not picking up a stick at any point in season 2?
In season 2? No, I don't. I don't. Stick. If you pick up a stick, you might as well leave. Marked for death. I think there's no good can come of your stick.
So, in anticipation for season 2, Max, did you have like any game plan going in? Was there anyone that you were like, oh, this person's probably going to be in the game, I'd like to work with them, or anyone that you'd be targeting coming in?
I think in my intro, I said that I would work with Rachel and Finn Wang, neither of which arrived. I also said I was going to get rid of TG Robbo, and I don't think I even attempted. Oh no, I couldn't because I never made it to the merge.
He also wasn't on the season.
Oh yeah, no, of course he wasn't. Oh yeah, well there you go.
Also, if TG Robbo's on the Ruber drive, there's no way he survives more than like 2 votes over there.
No,
with
right.
snakes like Lenny over there.
There's something so fun about voting Tom off, though. It's just so enjoyable.
Especially when he's got an idol in his pocket.
Yeah, Max, of course, you talk in your intro about how the comments from TG Robbo about him calling you a follower, not a leader, are still haunting you ever since season 1. How do you feel about it now? And did it play an impact at all into your season 2 game?
It hurts me because he's not just somebody that I've known for a bit. He's known me since I was like 10 years old. This is a comment that he's made based off of my entire childhood and early adulthood. Like, so I was a bit what? So a bit shaken. So yeah, I would say I am still a bit haunted by that. I am a bit upset that I never got a chance to take revenge. Maybe in season 3. Maybe I'll invite him out to Colombia, if you know what I mean.
The perfect spot to take revenge.
All right, so we get everyone there. First of all, like you told me like the day before the game, or maybe the morning of, that there might be a potential co-op thing going on. Did that kind of
Oh
take
yeah.
the head out of the game slightly because you, for a moment there, you were worried that you might have to leave? What was going on there?
I thought there was a chance that the game would be finished by 4, or there was a chance that I'd get booted off by 4 o'clock when I had to leave for my work shift. So I didn't ring in sick. But then after a while, I realized we kept winning the challenges, and I realized I was quite safe for a while. So I rang in sick with food poisoning. I'm pretty sure the boss told me afterwards that they were so understaffed that they literally had to close the shop for the evening.
So when you get there, you're looking around, you see everyone on your tribe. You've got Noel, you've got Oscar that you know from season one. Lenny and Big Dog are on the other tribe. I guess by this point you know everyone. How did you feel about your starting tribe?
Well, it was very good, and Strath was there as well. Well, no, that felt very good because me and Strath, we have that five-a-side football, Fast and Furious connection. Oscar the same, and Oscar we go way back, and I thought there'd be more of a bond between me and Noel because we went back to season one. We both made it to the later stages of the game. Looking back, maybe a bit upset that I didn't try harder to make an alliance between them. I can't remember how Strath ended up going out in the first place, but I'm not really sure why we got rid of him.
Yeah, we can get into that because I think that was definitely an interesting decision.
Yeah. I also think it happened behind my back, which I should have been much more aware of and much more cautious about.
Yeah, when
All right,
your good friend goes out the round before, I
And you
guess the
don't
alarm bell
realise.
should be ringing.
So the Strath vote. So it ends up so it's Oscar, Noel, Sock, and Billy that put the votes on Strath to take him out. So it's 4 votes on Strath. There's Ben and Holly that vote for Noel, but Noel plays his idol and counts it out. And you and Strath vote for Ben, that tribal council. So it seemed like, based on the strategy session, that Noel and Billy were sort of initially gunning for Strath. Then it kind of, a lot of people were saying Ben. They were basically like, it's going to be Strath or Ben. And then sort of in the middle of the strategy session, they get back together and they're just like, well, which one are we actually going to go for? And then it sort of seems a bit unclear as to who actually says the name Strath. But between
Yeah.
Noel, Oscar, and Billy, they kind of decide we'd rather take out Strath and Ben. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting vote. Certainly a big power shift. But I think mainly it was due to the sort of, they were expecting the merge to come soon, and I think they didn't want a player like Strath in there.
I mean, yeah, personally, I would have wanted to keep Strath in. Who did I vote for again in there? Ben.
Yeah, so you voted for Ben, but it seemed like based off what happened that round, you were very keen to get rid of Noel, but it was only
Oh,
towards the end that you were kind of talked out of it because you were on board with Holly and Ben, but then you spoke to Oscar and Billy towards the end, and they're like, no, we can't go for Noel, and then you're like, who have you heard? They say Strath, but maybe also a bit Ben. It seemed like they were leaning a bit more towards Strath, but yeah, you end up voting for Ben there. Do you think maybe if you'd have pushed really hard to save Strath, then you might have been able to?
yeah, I think so. I think I remember a lot of people weren't convinced about who they were going to vote for. I remember it was a lot of maybe this, maybe that, and it was always a bit of a surprise who actually left. I mean, watching back me getting voted off, I thought it was completely landslide, but it even seemed like some people were kind of undecided until the very last moment.
Yeah, I think there are a few conversations that were had by. Basically, I think this vote, I think you should have been fine, but all of the people that should have saved you basically just wimped out. Like
Yeah,
Oscar, Noel, and Sock in particular. Sock was more kind of probably benefited him more if you weren't in the game. So he was probably fine, but there are a few players there that should have pushed to save you, and they could have done, but they didn't back themselves.
yeah. Like I don't know why Oscar pushed me out because I never would have really voted for him under any circumstance. I guess I didn't push for like an alliance with him because maybe I assumed we had something, but we obviously didn't.
Is that something that's, if you were to play again or something that you regret not doing, it's like pushing harder for the concept of an alliance? Because no one ever really said the words on Merak. It seemed like there was a little thing between Noel and Oscar, maybe a thing between
Yeah,
Ben and Holly maybe, but no one ever really said the words, which then meant that it was very easy for people to then betray each other.
Yeah, I think it's because this season I was playing with people who I knew a lot better, and I kind of assumed friendship almost going into the game, which is one I guess that counts as was it pre-gaming almost, but two, um, just not a good idea because you don't know what people's intentions are, and
Exactly. The game is the game. So
the game is the game. You know, got to communicate.
Basically, everyone with the exception of Slaw, everyone knew each other pretty well. But then it's just like,
Yeah.
well, because these two know each other so well, does that mean they're going to team up, or does that mean they're going to target each other because they think it's going
Yeah,
to be
you don't
funny?
know.
And some
Don't know.
people did like you got like Faris and Holly. They were both coming in. They really wanted to take each other out. But then you've got like
Yeah.
Spock and Lucy who came in and they were actually going to team up together, but make it look like that they wanted to vote each other out.
Okay.
What do you think
Yeah,
you would have
exactly.
done, Max, if you were on Ruba Tribe? If you were with the likes of Lenny and Big Dog, and you got Will over there, Isaac?
I think things would have gone down a little differently, um,
the
because
Big Dog Forest Alliance.
big deal exactly, and you because I think we were immune for the first four challenges in a row, I believe.
Yeah.
So you get very very relaxed, very comfortable. But I think if you have the first four challenges or the first four tribal councils, you have to state your case and keep fighting to stay in the game. I think it changes how you strategize, and you've got to concentrate much more,
Yeah.
make alliances much faster, and think about it much more. Whereas for me, the first four we were immune, so we didn't even talk about anything. And then I think the first two ones we weren't immune. I think we got rid of Zhao.
What were you guys doing in all that downtime that you had when you won challenges? Were you just kind of chilling? Were you speculating
Yeah,
much about what was happening at the Ruba camp? What was going on up there?
no, just chilling out really.
Obviously,
Like,
planning your next walk on.
Yeah, whose
yeah,
ideas with the different walk-ons?
I can't remember. I think the dodgeball one was Strath.
I personally enjoyed the Guard of Honor one, where each person walked out and formed a clapping Guard of Honor for Noel to walk through
Oh, okay.
the
Oh,
trophy.
okay. Maybe that was me.
All right, yeah, well, we can give you credit for that.
I'll take credit for that. That was me.
Okay, fuck it. Should we just jump into this episode and then if there's anything else that comes up, we can just hop back and forth between previous episodes if we need to. We come in with the disc jousting, and Max, have you had much experience with this before?
Disc jousting. Is it something that people do often, or
It's like typically what happens, like you play your frisbee match. It's like the kind of thing that we did in Paganello, and then you play like
Yeah.
a spirit game with the other team.
spirit game? Oh,
So
okay.
it often
No,
comes up as a spirit game. I don't know if you'd ever played it as a spirit game before.
so a lot of the people there had done this before.
Oh
I don't
yeah, I've done it many times before.
Oh, okay.
like Lenny's
No, I
probably done it a
never.
bit. Noel would have played it a bit, but like big, like sort of after COVID, there weren't that many spirit games around. So like
Okay.
someone like me that's been there ages would have played it loads, but
I
you
think
haven't got that many really old players.
most people would have played it once at least.
Yeah. If Slaw had made it this far, he would have definitely played it a lot.
And we played it in the working
Okay.
week as well.
In the working week, yeah, that's true.
No, I never played it before. No, I'd like to think I should have done better. I should have done better. I think I played against Big Dog. Big Dog.
Yeah, you're up against Big
Bit of
Dog right at the start.
Bit of a taskmaster. I think I only played one round, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Mm.
So, same percentage win record as me.
Well,
Yeah,
so
I suppose you're right, maybe.
I've got the stats here for this challenge.
Sad. Oh,
So there were only 3 players that played 3 times. Okay. Isaac went 3-0. Very impressive from him. But he defeated Ben, who hadn't played before. He defeated Billy, who probably hadn't played it at all. And he also defeated Sock, who was okay. So reasonable from Isaac. Big Dog went 2-1. So he defeated Max, who admittedly had never
Yep.
played before. And then he went 1-for-1 against Oscar, who was probably one of the better players there. So I think fair play for Big Dog. And finally, we've got Lenny, who lost all 3. You lost to Sock, and then he lost to Noel twice.
I think there's
Okay.
people that could have beaten on that blue tribe. I just wasn't given the opportunity. You put me against a Billy, a Ben Roberts, a Holly Sheridan. I take him.
You got good range. I think that's useful for disc jousting.
Was there anything in the? So I was thinking about this. In terms of rules, is there any sort of rule against just pushing your opponent?
I think it's frowned upon. The idea is the disc has to fall as a result of the bottle. I
Okay, so
think
if I was to just throw my disc up in there and then just shoulder check
you'd have to hit their disc with the bottle. If you were to shoulder check, that would be,
a
I'd probably call it a
disqualification,
redo. But
that'd be
if
a great strategy.
but in
Just
the shoulder check, you're before their disc likely hits the ground, your disc still hits the ground first.
not if I throw it really high.
I think you overestimate the effectiveness of that strategy based
It's
on what happened. Like it's quite hard to get the disc like high because then if it flips in the end, it'll just come down like that.
no, I reckon it'd work.
All right, let's put it this way. I've seen you do it a lot. I've seen you do it this season and outside, and I've never seen it work for you.
The problem is my hand shakes too much to like my balance on it is so bad.
Yeah, I think that's your issue because you got the tremor. I think you've got the reach, which is a big plus, but then the tremor definitely, yeah, it gives it a time limit for you, I think.
I really enjoyed calling out Ben Roberts for that in the episode.
Oh yeah.
What did you say?
He was just like, "Oh, look at him, he's shaking," and then obviously hit him with the "I have a tremor," make him feel bad. In reality, I don't mind people saying that, but got to rattle the opposition somehow.
Hmm.
The
I've
game's
got
a
a couple
game.
of notes from this challenge. Mainly Lenny's plays actually. So when you're against Noel, you just flung the bottle. Was that kind of you said at time Hail Mary? It did look like you kind of lost your grip. You were just trying anything to get Noel's bottle.
Yeah, I think so. Just lob it across the garden. Worst comes to worst, you take out Veronica.
Yeah,
Um,
I think you almost hit Lucy.
that's another competitor down if you take him
Yeah.
out.
There's a good chance she makes it through in the redemption challenge. So yeah, be good to take her out. Also, oh yes, of course, your strategy to fling the disc just not working at all. Has that ever
No.
worked for you?
I've only tried it like 3 times. I saw it work on Australian Survivor though,
Yeah, and it's worked on
Hey?
American
but
Survivor as well. Survivor
but they
America.
weren't using frisbees.
Yeah.
But I
Okay, so
think
they do this on the real Survivor as well.
It's a classic challenge. Basically, they have like a
Similar.
little kind of it's like sort of a pole with like a flat surface on top, and on that is balanced like like a totem or just something.
Oh,
You
okay.
kind of balancing it, and then you're trying to knock the other one off with your hand. So it does work if you fling that into the air, then you run forward and you can smack theirs down to the
yeah, because it's
ground.
got a bit more weight.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that has been
Okay.
shown to work before.
That's what
So
you're
I was I
going
was
for.
I was applying a tried and tested technique to a slightly different game, and it didn't work. But you've got to go for it.
Lenny, do you think who up there is who would you be terrified to go up against in this game? Who do you think the best disc jousters are out there? I mean, obviously you clearly lose to anyone, but
I obviously Oscar. I don't know how Chris beat him. Oscar's just a he's just a beast at this kind of challenge. Obviously not Max, um not Billy, not Sock. Do you know what? Divya looked pretty. I know she only went up against Holly, but Divya looked incredibly agile, and the disc just seemed to balance quite well. So,
hmm.
though I could just hold my disc up as high as I can, I think I'd
Yeah.
probably be okay.
We played it a bit this year in the working week, Lenny. Do you remember any particularly good matchups? I feel like Isaac's pretty solid. I think he won it from
Yeah,
in the working week.
yeah. He's quite similar to Oscar, isn't he? In
Yeah,
terms of big and quite good balance.
yeah. I think the same as Oscar, but maybe slightly quicker.
Yeah, that'd be a good matchup. I'd like to
Yeah.
see that.
I will say this year in the working week, I had a little disc joust with Lenny. Actually, do you remember what happened?
Actually, I assume I'm now over four.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, at the time, I felt like it was. I was up against quite a strong opponent, but actually, I'd just challenged the worst player in the world.
I imagine I lost every match. Did I lose? Did I lose to Faris as well? I feel like I might have done. I feel like I definitely have a match against Faris, and let's be honest, if I've had a match, I've probably come out in second place.
I've got a feeling that we all cheered a lot after that one, so I feel like Faris got an underdog win.
Yeah, not really an underdog win, is it?
I think that's the thing, because you're so tall, everyone's just like, oh, Lenny's going to be really good.
But I'm like San Marino.
Does everyone think San Marino's going to be great?
No.
Is it the opposite of San Marino? You're like, I don't know. I can't.
England. You like England,
Yeah,
Lenny?
yeah.
Sorry. I just meant ability-wise, I'm like San Marino.
Okay.
Okay.
Expectations-wise, yeah, maybe in England.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously Ruber ended up winning this challenge. I will say whether you had Will or not wouldn't have mattered too much because I played him this year in the working week and he wasn't very good actually. So this would have been yet another challenge Will would have been terrible at. We get to the strategy session. How are you feeling at this point, Max? Because you've just lost Strath. You thought that he was a solid ally for you, but it seems to me and the viewer, it seems like you kind of been with both groups in your tribe. Is that how you felt at the time?
Yeah, I think so. I think I just felt very comfortable. Felt very comfortable that my teammates wouldn't get rid of me. I don't think I paid too much attention about any alliances that were forming. I just thought maybe it's too early. You know, we're winning all these challenges. Very rarely having to strategize. I know Noel, I know Oscar, I know Sock. At the time I didn't know Billy and Holly or Ben too well. But I thought my connections with Oscar, Sock and Noel would carry me through. So I neglected that. I think in the strategy section, you can see two groups form, leaving one remainder, and that remainder was me. And I think at that point, I sealed my own fate. I think if I'd secured a conversation at that point, then somebody else would have gone.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad time to not be speaking to anyone.
The seeds got sowed. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, seeds were sowed, but they were only sowed in one conversation. So there was half of the players. It was Ben, Holly, and Billy talking to each other, and that's basically when Ben, offers your name, just like, okay, Max voted for me last round. I want to go for him. Like, we need to sit together. Like, we fucked up on the Strath vote, guys. Like, we lost Strath. We didn't want him to go. We messed that up. We need to just make sure that we're all voting together. So that's all going on over there. In the other conversation, Noel, Oscar, and Sock are just like, this is great. We got rid of Strath. Now, Max and Billy are the people we need to convince in order to get rid of Ben. That was what was happening in the other conversation.
Oh, really?
So it seemed like throughout the rest of the strategy, the three of them end up flipping on the original plan. And I think that was because Ben pushed you really hard and you didn't push him that hard at all.
Yeah, maybe I unstrategized myself. Maybe I should have just not said anything at all.
Oh, no, I think the opposite. I think you should have maybe shown some strategy. I think what was able to convince Noel in the end was that he was just like, Max is a bit unpredictable. And then I think Billy was just like, And then literally you're just behind them, not talking to anyone, going like, hey.
Yeah, I like the way you cut the video. So it happened immediately after.
That wasn't even like I think in season 1 I had to cut it that it was like I had to move the stuff around a little bit. This time I basically kept it pretty chronological the whole time. That was literally what was happening at that exact time.
Yeah, going back, I know it's hard for me, but I would have liked to play a bit more seriously. I guess because I knew people quite well. It's easy to have a bit of a laugh, but having a bit of a laugh doesn't take you far in the game. Kids, that's my advice for you. Any young Survivor players out there?
So at this point, you in your mind, you're just like, I'm pretty safe anyway. Like I'm about to go to the merge. Did you have a plan for the merge? Was that when you were going to be like, okay, now we've got everyone here, I can decide who I want to team up with? Is that what was going through your head?
Possibly, yeah, possibly. I mean, on the other team there was Lenny and Big Dog. You know,
we would have ran one hell of a recruitment drive for Big Dog Forest FC players. You and Oscar.
Oscar certainly would have been in there as well.
Something that was thrown around a lot by like Nolan, Holly, and Sock throughout the strategy session, that there was a strong risk of you working with Strath if he came back. Was that basically your plan?
A little bit. I didn't have too much of a plan, to be honest. I think that's quite clear. But yeah, no, I had my eye on a few allies.
To be fair, even though you didn't have a plan, I feel like you were at least, compared to a lot of people, fairly aware of, like, when it comes to reading other people, and you knew straight away that Ben was definitely going for you after that
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
let's get into this
conversation.
conversation because I feel like it's certainly been my highlight of the strategy
Oh
session
yeah,
all season.
yeah, the funniest thing I've seen.
You're just shooting the breeze with Strath and Will and me. I was there for a bit, and then you're just like, anyone want to chat? And Ben Roberts slinks over.
Well, yeah, no, I just seen Ben Roberts having a very in-depth conversation with some people, and then he slinks over, and I ask him who he's thinking about, and he says, "Oh, I've not really thought about it." Well, what does he say? I've not thought about it. I don't know. If he, like, you can't chat that in depth with a group of people and not come up with even a tiny little name. Maybe we're going for Billy. He just said, "Oh, I don't know." That to me is basic covering his own arse.
So is
And
this Ben Roberts having not played the game? Is this him showing some inexperience?
quite possibly, yeah, quite possibly. And so at the end of the conversation, he asked me who I was voting for. So I hit him with the "I don't know" back, and that was very deliberate.
I mean, you do throw out Billy's name as well.
I think I wanted Ben at the time, and I just gave him a name, really.
Okay.
Which is arguably what Ben should have done to you.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah, was there a reason why
Yeah.
Noel's name wasn't going around at all this round?
I don't know. I just kept getting flashbacks to the season before when every round people said we'll get rid of Noel next round. We'll get rid of Noel, and we never did, and he made it to the final. And if it weren't for one vote, two votes, I think one vote in the other direction would have made it a draw.
Yeah,
I think it was 6-4
I
that
think
he
it was a
lost.
7-4 vote.
Oh,
6 to 4, 7
7-4.
to 4, something like that.
Okay. But I was just thinking about how he very almost won. And at some point in every round, I think somebody said, we'll get rid of him in time. And so I thought, you know what?
I definitely said
There's
that
no
to
clear
you in
target.
season one.
Let's get rid of him now so it doesn't happen again.
We see over the next few conversations, I think if you'd have maybe, because you then kind of got separated from everyone else for a while when you went to speak to Ben, and then Ben then went back and you kind of remained on your own. I think if at this point you then end up back with either an Oscar or a Noel or a Sock, you can probably persuade them again because it's sort of only through these conversations that they're slowly individually being convinced, oh, we'll just stay safe ourselves, we'll make it to the merge, we'll just get rid of Max. That seemed to be what it was. However, you then begin to have individual one-on-one conversations with players throughout the rest of this strategy session. Do you think this was a good strategic move from you? Just having one-on-one chats?
Possibly. I think at the time, I assumed that, well, Sock had given me a pinky promise. That's how it all started off. And that had happened, and obviously I was on a team with Oscar. I assumed that I had those two relatively wrapped up. I think that was where it went wrong. So I thought it was just a case of getting maybe two other people on side, because obviously I wasn't going to get Ben on side. But Billy and Holly, I thought, were really the ones that I needed to convince. And it seemed that they almost were convinced at one point. Like I think in Billy's confessional, he even said like it's going right to the wire. He still doesn't know.
I'm trying to. I'm looking down the list of quotes that I have that almost were the episode title. I'm trying to see if some of these featured in any of your conversations. When you were campaigning for Billy, when you were speaking to Ben, you questioned as to whether Billy was somebody that Ben wanted in crunch time because crunch time was coming.
I mean, that was just me.
Just change it.
Just change shit, yeah. Which you could argue is about 50% of what I was saying.
Yeah.
Later when you speak to Holly, you tell her that you have no reason why she should vote out Ben Roberts over you.
Oh, that's definitely a mistake.
That was no, but then I told her that it would be more interesting to keep me in the game, which, to be honest, I think would have been true. I think it would have been true.
From the viewing perspective after this episode, it definitely is true.
I think there's only so long that you can go on playing like that before. You never know.
You tell Billy that Ben is out of hand, but you're perfectly in hand.
Yeah, I can't really explain that. I don't- Ben was coming for me, and it felt like he was trying to make some big moves. Then I was just trying to reassure Billy that I'm a safe player.
Okay, what do we think of this? So we see a conversation between Billy and Sot, okay? And it looks like they've got a little alliance going, which is just as well because by the sound of it, we've got Oscar and Noel together, and we've got Ben and Holly together. So now we've got three pairs plus Max on his own. What do we think of the Billy Sock alliance? Do we think is it a smart idea for them? Do we think that they're able to work together? Because it seems like Sock's kind of with Oscar and Noel, and then we've got Billy who's kind of more with Ben and Holly.
Well, that's probably quite good for them because then they're just in the middle. You're hearing both sides, and then you can just sort of you get to pick. Really,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
unlikely that either of them are going to get chosen to vote for, and then they can keep each other's names out the opposing circles.
Yeah, I mean, also, I mean, Lenny, is this going to be a problem for you then at the merge? Because if we've got, it seemed like it was fairly splintered until this vote, but now if we've got three pairs that are all sort of slightly in with each other, then that's going to make your job a lot more difficult to try and dismantle that.
I feel like they're not as bonded as united as the four of us on Ruba, who have been to war all of Saturday.
That's right. They have had fewer votes, but they did all just basically vote unanimously in the
Yeah,
voting.
but I mean that was just an easy vote off, wasn't it? You get rid of the chaff, obviously.
Yeah, so Max, were you sensing that you're in danger? Because I personally, I think it's quite a smart strategy. If you're able to get people in these one-on-one chats, that's when you can say, well, it's just the two of us. We form an alliance. We get this going, and then it looked like you were saying this to Oscar. It looked like he was sort of half convinced. Like this was sort of after he'd spoken to Noel, and Noel was just like, "We're getting Max," and he was like, "Yeah." But it seemed like Oscar was like you almost convinced Billy, and Billy it didn't seem like was on your side at all. So
No, I think my mistake was, like you said earlier, I didn't use the word alliance at all. I never showed people what I could do for them. I never expressed that I would be loyal to them, so they never had a reason to stick with me.
mm.
I just sort of was like, oh, you keep me in for like undisclosed reasons. Um, Whereas it's obviously mutually beneficial. If I say, don't vote for me, I won't vote for you. That's what really wins people over.
It's surprisingly simple. Let's talk a bit about Sock because we find out here that Sock has got a secret alliance with Isaac, and
Yeah.
at the merge, and Lenny, not great for you. They're targeting Noel, Lenny, and Big Dog.
Yeah, what the fuck is he talking about? Where's this come from?
How is Sock targeting Lenny at this
Also,
point in the game?
when have they formed this? Like,
Yeah,
I'd love to know if Isaac has any idea about this alliance.
is this just unspoken or yeah?
When's he got that sorted out?
Yeah, I mean, like he's already got an alliance with Lucy, and I mean, Sock may be more better connected than we thought at this merge, despite the fact that he doesn't seem to be that tethered to Merak. Okay, I've got a list here, all right, and I want you guys to tell me if I'm right or not. This is what in my opinion, based on the first couple of episodes, this was the Merak hierarchy going into this episode. Okay, so it felt to me as though you got since Strath's gone because that kind of fucked the whole thing up, but you got Noel at the top, Oscar, then Sock, then Max, then Billy, then Holly, then Ben. That was how it seemed to me as we were going into this episode.
Wow.
I think that's a bit harsh on Holly, don't you think?
I felt like they were pretty willing to vote her off. I mean, she hadn't voted with the rest of the group.
True, but I feel like she was had a bit more sway with other people. She was
You
bringing
think? I mean,
people into
she
the
couldn't
plan.
convince people to vote out Noel.
Well, that's true, but no one can convince anyone to vote off Noel. That's I think the hardest thing a person can do is try
Yeah.
and vote off Noel. Cockroach.
Why did you put Ben at the bottom?
Just because he got votes in the previous round, and you guys were all very keen to say his name because like Noel, Oscar, and Sock immediately were just like, oh, so obviously Ben, right? And then it was only that the vote flipped off Ben onto you.
Oh, okay.
So it seemed to me like Ben had the least social capital going into this vote, and yet was able to completely direct the vote onto you. What do we think of
Good
Ben?
play.
What do we think of Ben basically telling Noel that he voted for him in the last round?
I can't remember that happening, but it
It's
seems
always a bold strategy.
He's speaking to Noel, and they're talking about Noel's idol, and Ben's just like, "Oh, I didn't know you had an idol because if I did then," and Noel was just like, "Then what? What are you saying that you voted for me in the last round?" And then Ben was just like, "No, had I known, I would have voted for Strath even harder than I did."
even harder. How did how did this guy survive?
So far, I feel like Ben not great at lying to people.
Is this the best strategy we've seen from Merak of when Ben and Holly got together at the start of the round with Billy, and they were just like, okay, like last vote we completely fucked it. This vote, if we all just stick together and don't vote for each other, and we all vote the same way, we can control the vote. And that it was as if they'd suddenly figured out the game.
Yeah, it works. It really is that simple.
Mm. I think it was their strategic success and the complete failure of the other four people in the tribe to realize, hang on a sec, sure, there's three of them, maybe they're voting together, but there's four of us. So if we vote together and we vote for one of them, then they go home.
You're right.
The best player went home at the end of the day.
The best team lost at the end
The
of the
best
day.
team lost.
So Max, you picked your season one alliance with Oscar. You're like, let's get back to this. And Oscar then says, "Oh, when we get to the merge, shall we team with Lenny?" You don't seem that keen on that.
I think what I was really saying was, let's not talk about the future because at the time I wasn't convinced that I was making it past that round.
Right. Okay.
You just got to sell him a dream, though.
Sell him a dream, yeah. I suppose if I come in with that ultra confidence that yeah, we're gonna team up with Lenny and yeah, we're gonna like he would have kept me in, but
As advice to anyone that may ever play this game in the future, if someone comes up to you with a plan, say yes, regardless of what you think of it.
yeah.
Because if you say no, then they might be like, all right, well, Mike isn't working with me, so therefore maybe he's working against me. I'll just start saying Mike's name because like he's clearly not working with me on this vote. But if you just say yes, then they think you're on board and you can make the decision later.
Absolutely right. Hindsight is 2020.
So Max, for this vote, who are you expecting to vote with you? Was it Noel and Sock, and then maybe Oscar, maybe Holly, maybe Billy?
A 6-1 win in Max's favour is what he's expecting.
Were you going into the tribal council expecting Ben to be voted off here?
I thought I was definitely in some danger. There was a point where Holly let slip to me that I was in a lot of danger. I don't know if it was deliberate or what did she say? She said I could vote for Ben, but I don't think it would make any difference. But at that point, I was pretty certain, to be honest. But no, I didn't think I was in too much danger until we started talking. But Sock's conversation at the beginning with the pinky promise really, really stuck with me. I thought, and Sock was with Noel at the time, so I assumed those two together were on board.
What kind of man breaks a pinky promise like that?
I don't know. To whip out a pinky promise, it's insane. It's insane to me.
Just disgraceful.
It's no Geneva Convention in Survivor.
All right, just before we jump into tribal council, then I just want to make a note of Sock and Noel because Holly's just like, oh, okay, well maybe I could vote for Ben with you, Max, but it's not going to change anything. I just want to say that is bullshit. In a tribe where there's only 7 of you, because Sock and Noel get together and they're just like, oh, okay, well, if we vote for Ben, then our votes aren't going to count and maybe he'll know. But it's just like, well, first of all, the votes are anonymous, so that's not that deep. And second of all, like, they have 2 votes there. They already know that Max is going to be voting for Ben. So then all they need to do is convince one more person. Noel has Oscar. Just
Yeah. Oscar
Yeah.
would literally do anything, literally anything Noel said at this point in the game.
if they felt it was in their best interest to save you, then they blew it because they shouldn't have let you go there. So tribal council. Yeah, so at this point, I'm not actually a lot of the strategy I am there for. I'm doing some filming for whatever reason this round. Maybe I was getting stuff ready for the redemption challenge. I wasn't there, so at tribal council, I have no idea who's about to be voted off. I'm genuinely trying to piece it together based on the questioning, and I think throughout all I really get, I'm just like it's probably going to be either Max or Ben, but I really I've no idea who it's coming to. Next question: how do you survive a rip current?
You swim perpendicular. You swim parallel with the shore, and perpendicular to the current.
Yes, I think that's right.
Yes. Yeah.
What do we think about Strath not being there? That came up at the tribal council. Max, like, did you have any inkling about the redemption challenge? Were you just like, I think Strath's probably coming back? Like, what did you think? You obviously had Zhao in there as well.
I mean, obviously it's likely, but it's not a given because I think Sorensen was one of 4 in that challenge.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
So
this
anybody's
redemption
game.
challenge is a little bit more useful
Hopefully, fingers
because
crossed.
that Sorensen one really, really was going to end one way when he came back into the game.
Oh, we were this close to getting Big Dog back.
Uh,
Although to be fair, I think if Big Dog comes back, the season's more boring, but we probably have a different winner. I feel like Big Dog just joins your big alliance, and then Noel isn't able to flip on you because he doesn't have the numbers.
then we win.
Potentially.
Hey.
I mean,
I'd
I
say-
will say, Max, I think Noel blew it. I think he should have taken you to the end of season 1. I think that was his best chance.
Yes, I think you're right. I can't imagine many people would have voted for me, to be honest.
I think at that point it's a toss-up, but I think his best chance was against you. So I think
Yeah.
it was it was a mistake for him to vote out both of you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I win at the final 2, whoever I go with. So
I can see a lot of the jury not wanting you either, Lenny. I feel like Mark and Amy don't give you their vote. Sorensen
Sorensen would vote for me every day of the week.
Beth and Carolina would be up in the air as to whether they'd vote for you. Ollie probably wouldn't vote for you.
I take home a 12-0 landslide victory. 11-0. 11-0.
But I think if Noel wanted his best shot at winning season 1, he has to be at the end with one of you two. I think he needed to get rid of Beth at final 6, and then like Carolina would have been safe at 5 anyway. And then I guess probably knock out Lenny at 5, then Carolina at 4, Oscar at 3.
Yeah.
There's a good chance we end up with a Max Beline win there.
If only. If
Thank
only.
God that didn't happen.
Yeah, Max, did you feel as if your game in season 1 at all affected what happened in season 2? Do you think there was a bit of Max made it really far last time that carried over?
Possibly. I think I assumed that I'd make it to the later stages of the game. Not top 3 or the final, but I just assumed that because of who I knew and who I knew well, I assumed that I'd make it to at least past the merge and a little bit further. I could sort of summarize my performance as complacent. That's the word. Very complacent.
Oh, I see.
Don't get complacent is what I would tell myself.
I was going to use a different word, but
Shit.
Max, at Tribal Council, you say that you can predict people's behavior based on their performance and how you know them. And then, admittedly, after the gentlest of probing, you crumbled and admitted you couldn't. But if I was to ask you now some of these players' behavior, if let's say you're on another tribe with them in a future season, okay? I put you with Ben. Are you thinking Ben's going to try and backstab me? What's Ben going to do?
Yeah, definitely. Ben would backstab me, as he did.
All right.
Well, he didn't really backstab me. He never told me that he would align with me or anything.
he just stabbed you.
He just stabbed me, which is really part of the game. A bit of stabbing.
All right. You're on a tribe with Holly. What's she going to do? Are you going to ally with her? Is she going to be trustworthy? What do you reckon?
Holly's going to be relatively trustworthy, I think. And I think she's not going to try and control the game. She's going to go with the tide, as you say.
You want a player like Holly. I don't know why no one said to her, Holly, let's have an alliance. Like, it seemed like that's the player that you want.
I think she's good. I think she's going to be relatively loyal. I think she's going to be very transparent. She'll tell you who she's going to vote for. And I don't think she's going to break an alliance easily. I did notice though, she ended up voting for Sock, and I think in that tribal council, and I think her reason was because Sock kept talking about rip currents, which really surprised me. That is a bit of a curveball.
I mean, that's why it's so easy to like your vote does mean something, because if Sock and Noel had voted with you, then Holly flips. You're tied.
Yeah, Holly threw a vote away essentially. Holly threw a vote away. I voted for Ben, and then if two other people vote for Ben,
it all changes.
Game can change in a blink of an eye.
We do have a confessional. Do you know what I've forgotten what I was going to say then?
You really have been shit this week, Mike.
But I've got another point. No, I've got notes for the episode.
Jesus, a disgrace.
At one point during Tribal, Max says he caught Noel going into the bathroom with Lenny. What was going on, Lenny?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
Noel claimed you were filming a confessional together. What actually went on?
I think that probably did happen. I assume.
All I'm saying is I've got no footage of this confessional. What the fuck was going on?
There must be a confessional of me in that bathroom where I'm not.
I think Noel was revealing that he had an idol to you. I think. Did he have an idol?
He had an idol in the previous round, so if you'd seen them going in there.
Noel did tell me about something. I think maybe he told me about his extra vote. Because now I think about it, he did tell me about something in there, and he'd already used the idol. So I think maybe I was asking him if he felt safe. No, obviously nothing bad was going to happen to Noel in that bathroom.
You feel safe.
You feel safe. You shouldn't.
Lenny, watching this tribal council back, what did you think of all of this water bullshit?
Just thank God I wasn't there. Thank God I didn't have to sit through. Thank God I didn't have to edit that. Jesus, that would really piss me off.
Imagine if Sock got himself voted off. If several other people had gone with Holly, or we'd had a tiny little quick discussion before we all went off to vote.
Yeah,
should we get rid of Sock, guys?
I mean, that's basically what we all predicted would happen with Sock anyway. So
yeah,
it's par for the course. I do want to stop down before we get to the vote itself. Ben at the end, I asked him if he has anything to add, and he says, as the water boy said, you saw the whole of the moon or something. And there is a group or an artist or a band called the Water Boys that have a song called Whole of the Moon. I had heard that. At the time, I had no fucking idea what he was talking about, and no one else did either. Yeah. But he was onto something.
Okay, when he was talking about the Water Boys, I just assumed he was talking about Billy and Sock.
Yeah, me too.
yeah, absolutely.
I don't remember them saying that.
I was like, no, at no point did anyone mention the moon.
Which I think technically makes Ben one of the 3 Water Boys. Yeah.
And then just the thumb up, just a beat, and then start going like, what a shit thing to say.
You just edited it though, so Sock said, what a shit.
No, that was all he said. And then,
what a shit.
Yeah, I assume he was going to be like, what a shit thing to say, but I think he stopped himself because he was just like, oh, this is going to be too harsh, or he just like caught himself. But it was just, that was enough to just break the tension and just everyone was
I do like the phrase, what a shit. What the shit?
Maybe he was just calling Ben Roberts a shit. Yeah, so we've got Holly flipping on Sock. What do we think of that as a move? Do you think that's I mean, the whole premise that this is based on is that Holly, Ben, and Billy got together at the start and just like, okay, we really chumped this last vote by not voting together. We vote together this time. And then they almost have it, and then at the last second, Ollie's just like, "Do you know what? Sock's spoken a bit too much about water. Done this."
I guess she felt safe, and she didn't really care. She thought, if no one's voting for me, so
Let's just get Sock's name in the ring.
exactly
Is that the kind of
the,
behavior you
the
want from an
luxury
ally
some
in this
players
game?
have. Probably
Well,
not, actually.
no, I wouldn't be a fan.
No.
But no one will ever know it was Holly, so she's probably fine.
So we get to the vote, but before we do, we have an idle fake out from Max Berline shouting out TG Robbo from season one.
CG Roy, season 1. Surprised no one did it before or after.
All I'm saying is, for my like the votes were so clearly on you. How incredible would it have been if that whole round you just been bullshitting people and you knew you had the idol, you were always going to
Yeah,
trying to get all the votes on yourself. That would have been
that would have
incredible.
been amazing. That would have been amazing.
Would
Oh,
we have been able to give him would the Ruber idol have been able to transfer over to the other tribe?
I think the main thing was that you can't find the other tribe's idol, but I guess no, actually no, I would have been on board with you passing it over. Actually,
Should have come up and begged. They would have handed it over, I think.
knock on the door. It's like, guys, it's about to be the merge. Just, please.
Please, please.
I'll do anything.
Who had the idol at the time?
I think I'd definitely given it to Divya post point.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
when. I couldn't tell you
Oh, okay.
exactly when.
Yeah, I mean, in Australian Survivor, they often pass idols between tribes. So, yeah, if you'd have asked me, I would have been fine with it. I would have been quite excited for
The thing
that.
with that is just don't ask. Just do it.
Well, no, ask because then we can get it on camera.
Just do it.
I
Don't
think
even
anything
ask.
idol related, always ask. Ask because there's usually rules to idols. For example, if you get voted off with an idol, you can't give the idol to your mate. That's really the only rule.
But as soon as you filmed it, you can't unfilm that, Mike. As soon as it's done, as soon as Max is still in the game, nothing you can do at that point.
Should we go through each of the members of Merak and say whether it was smart or dumb for them to vote off Max here? Because I think some of them, great move. Several of them, terrible move. Should we start with Should we start with Noel? What do we think here, Lenny?
Bad move.
Really?
Well, I think Ben's just admitted to voting for him in the previous
okay, yeah.
round. Whereas I feel like you're probably more on his side.
Yeah. At the time, if I attempted to align with him a bit more, I think would have said bad move. But there was no reason for him at the time to trust me. Really, I'd not
Yeah,
told
that's
him
true.
at any point.
But at least you hadn't voted for him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, I'm gonna co-sign the bad move for Noel. I think this is the second round in a row he hasn't voted off Ben Roberts when he should have done. We discussed it last episode. I think it's a bad move for Noel to lose Strath. I think it's a terrible move for him to lose Max here, especially given Max himself has just confirmed, and he confirmed at the time that at the time he was assuming that Noel was on his side. I don't see Max turning on Noel like straight away at the merge, but I can see Ben doing that. Admittedly, Ben did have a confession on this episode saying he'd be looking to align with Noel. Don't know if I actually included that, but he said maybe going forward I'll align with Noel just because both of our names have been out there. But given that he confessed to Noel that he'd voted for him in the past, also I think Max carries a bigger threat. Max carries a bigger threat going into it than Ben does, rather, because he's played before. And also, I mean, Max is a valuable connection to Ruber. Like, if Noel's wanting to get in there and work with, Lenny and Big Dog, Max is a great kind of person that he can say, "Oh, you get on Lenny's side," and then if Lenny starts throwing out my name, then Max will be like, "No." All right.
Absolutely right.
Is this good or bad for Oscar?
Bad.
Bad.
Silly boy. Silly boy, that Oscar.
Yeah, I think yeah, same reasons for Noel for me. I think bad move.
Yeah, you don't vote off a big dog forest player.
No. He's a player who relies on connections and strong alliances, and I'm not sure why he would so readily vote off somebody who
He's gagging for alliance.
who's gagging for an alliance and who has has a portfolio. I was with him in the last season, till the very end.
Mm.
I think we got voted off together largely, and we never voted for each other.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, from what we've heard from Oscar this season, so he wanted to team with Noel because they'd worked together last season. When you suggested an alliance with him, Max, he was just like, "Oh yeah, great, because we worked together last season. Like, it'd be great to do that again. Oh, and when we get to the merge, we can work with Lenny like we did last season." It seems like he wants to work with the people that he played with last season. So he's gone with Noel, which is good. Then he's voted you off, and then potentially then lost that leverage to get Lenny on his side at the merge. So
Yeah, it's strange. It's
yeah,
strange.
I think a bad move for him.
Penny for his thoughts.
All right, should we do Holly and Ben together? I think probably good for them to lose Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben, obviously, it keeps him in the game.
I'd say out of everyone, probably a great decision from Ben to get Max out there.
Is this
The
the only thing that
correct
Ben could have
decision.
done? Did he pick his target beautifully? Is there any other name that he could have said that to save himself here?
Probably, but I think probably Max was going to be the most successful.
If Ben says a different name at the start, I don't see him making it through this vote.
Yeah, maybe Sock. I feel like you can always get Sock out, can't you? If you really wanted to.
It's always there, but Sok was very much
Yes.
stuck for Noel this round.
Yeah, but does Noel care about anyone? I think Noel would vote out Oscar still if it came his way.
That's true.
He's just a prick.
All right, Max, what's your opinion then on Billy and or Sok as to whether they should have voted you off here? Was this a mistake for either of them?
No, I don't think so. It seems that Sock's strategy was just to go with the majority. It didn't really matter for Sock, I don't think. I think he had enough connections with Noel and Oscar and other players where he was relatively safe. So for him, neutral. I guess getting rid of anyone is good. And same for Billy. Billy's name wasn't really thrown around too much, other than by me, temporarily. Really as just a disguise when I was talking to Ben. So I'd say neutral or good for both of those two.
Yeah, just getting to the merge is good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what we all want. That's what we all crave.
Lenny, upon seeing that Max has been voted off, is this good or bad for you for your game? Did you want Max there at the merge? Was Max the person that you were sort of thinking about trying to get on board?
Yeah, I think he would have slotted lovely into our little alliance of four on the Ruba tribe, especially if he's not currently in like a proper alliance. We're looking to pick those kind of people up, I think.
Yeah. And if Strath came back, he could have got the old quintuple back.
Quintuple?
What with Strath replacing TG Robbo?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right. Yeah, a fair TG Robbo
Quintuple alliance.
Yeah. We can't have TG Robbo, so we've got the next best thing, which is Strath.
Is it Thomas version 2?
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes I forget they share a name.
They do share a name.
Yeah, Lenny, actually, what's happening in the Ruba camp at this point? So you've gone upstairs. Are you just like, oh, let's make a plan for the merge now? Now we know that all four of us are guaranteed. Who are we going to work with? Or were you just
I think we were discussing potential targets to get on our side. I know for a fact Holly definitely came up. I was very passionately saying not Noel because he will turn on us. That's a man we cannot have on our side and we need to get rid of this time. I think, and then maybe people like Sock, we could get on our side. Nice, easy option. But I think Holly was our number one target.
Did you have an inkling as to who would be voted out on the Merak tribe?
Not really. I don't think any of us were that surprised when it was Max because Strath went the round before. So to us, that made fairly good sense, like that they were probably working together.
Yeah, Lenny, one unanswered question that we have now is obviously all four of you do make the merge now in Ruba. If you go to Tribal Council, if you did lose one of those challenges and you had to go, in your opinion, who do you think would have been voted off?
I think Isaac.
You think Isaac? Okay.
I think Isaac. It would either have been Isaac or me, and I think it would have been Isaac.
Because, yeah, it seems Big Dog's pretty safe and Divya will probably play her idol, especially if you'd have given it back to her by then.
Yeah, I think just because I don't think Divya would have voted for me because I helped her with the idol, and she seems quite loyal. And then I would have known she had an idol, so I would be going for Isaac.
Hmm.
Obviously, I'm not voting Big Dog. No chance. So yeah, it would have been between me and Isaac anyway.
All right, sigh of relief for Isaac then. Um, Max, can you just take us through the remaining six players on Merak and just say you've had the experience now of playing with them for a day. Who are you now backing to go into the merge? Who do you think's been playing the strongest game? Who do you think's in the best position?
To be honest, I think Sock at this point, purely because actually Sock did accumulate some votes at this point, but I was noticing that Sock was often involved in a lot of conversations and I noticed a lot of the time the players that Sock was talking about voting for would leave. I mean,
He's
there were
been focusing
players
a lot of cards.
Holly and Billy that were staying in the game, but I can't say that they were dictating the vote.
Sock, though, at that tribal council, almost got himself sent home just by chatting shit.
Yes, he did. I think it would have been very unlikely, but
But obviously, like if he's
but
doing that in a
possible.
strategy round or something like that, if he
Yeah,
uses his head, it'll be very easy to clip him, I think.
yeah, possibly. I guess at this point, it's anybody's game.
Max, what happened in the Zhao vote? Why did you want to knock out Zhao? Also, another great moment from you when you're in a conversation with Billy and Ben, and they're like, who do you reckon we should get? And you're just like, I think someone that sat out of the challenge when both of them had sat out of the challenge.
Also, later that episode where you and Strath are talking to Zhao, and you wait for him to leave, and then you pull Strath back in and just go, "Yeah, we should vote him off."
That's just a classic case of just just find somebody because there were no clear targets at that point. And people's minds are easily swayable
Yeah,
because you never know if somebody does that to you, you're fucked.
yeah,
And that's so I realized I had to do that to Zhao. I I targeted him one because he a bit like me in this episode. He wasn't talking to anyone at the start, I don't think, and it was very easy to alienate him. It was just, yeah, self-preservation. Poor
Oh,
guy. Felt a bit bad. The game's the game.
the
yeah.
game is the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Never feel bad.
I mean, there's a chance
It's
he
a
gets back
Sorensen
in.
style. Yeah, I was okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So Max, we finally now got to our redemption lineup. Okay, so we've got seven players fighting for it. Obviously, Slaw will not be involved, which is very very sad. But so we've got Archie, we've got Faris, we've got Lucy, we've got Zhao, Will, Strath, and you. Seven players in there. Looking up and down that line, who are you thinking? I don't really want to be competing against them.
But from prior experience, Strath was a bit of a taskmaster. I mean, to be fair, really just Strath.
Lenny, I think it's time, sadly, to eulogize Max here. I mean, obviously, there's a chance that he can rejoin us in the Redemption Challenge, which is, personally what I'm certainly hoping for. Uh, Obviously, I'm hoping everyone comes back in, which will really piss everyone off.
We're back
So,
to
right,
18,
It's
boys.
gonna be
Basically,
a long
resetting.
game, guys.
Final 17, guys. You've managed to get past Slaw. Day two. Yeah, Lenny, I think Max definitely maybe not bringing it strategy wise in this particular round, but I think definitely a shining light in the confessionals all season.
An entertainer. An
And
entertainer.
entertainment. Yeah, I think I got a bit carried away with being a bit of a joker and forgot.
It's hard not to when you're wearing that outfit, to be fair.
Yeah, I sort of set myself up to for that role.
The second you shaved your head, to be honest.
The game was over the second I lost my hair. But this season, if
That's
there was
what,
if there was this season, this is proper. This is proper Survivor.
14 months of growth?
That's
Not
true.
bad.
No, I've had two haircuts since.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or maybe
Quite
three. I
impressive.
don't know. But I'm currently I think 8 months without a haircut.
It's gone very curly. I don't think I've ever seen it like that.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize this is what my hair is like. It's been
Yeah, it's
so
never
short
been
for so long.
it's never been longer than like a small quiff, has it, really?
No, no, similar to your length, I think, at the moment. Yeah. Lenny, yours.
Yeah, I think I need a haircut. It's a bit messy at the front these days.
Lionel, nothing at
But
home can't sort.
unfortunately, I think if you see in the corners, it's getting quite dire.
No,
Uh,
no.
so the
I
fringe
think
is here
mine's
to
worse.
stay.
Look,
Yeah,
you can't.
exactly.
I have to turn the camera, Lenny. But it's okay. You just grow it long, and then it covers it.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's my plan.
Or just start wearing headbands.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that just makes it go even further
It
back.
does. It does. Yeah, I need a haircut too. It's too long
Just
at the
a
sides.
couple.
My hair always comes out like that at the sides. It looks not a fan of it.
We can use this as a time capsule and look back, and see who went bald first.
I think my dad went bald mid-20s, so
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't have long left.
I'm imagining just on your 25th birthday, it all goes.
Yeah, as soon as it starts to go, I'm just shaving it all off, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Once
Also,
it gets to
can I say it's just I've got a disadvantage because I'm significantly older than you
A
boys.
little bit older, a little bit
That's
on the
true.
older side.
That is true.
It's like a mature student.
To be honest, as long as I have hair when I graduate in 2.5 years' time, I'll be happy with that.
I think you should be okay for 2 years, Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know though, Max. You never know.
I mean, hey, it's fucking stressful.
Don't
It's,
take steroids or anything with your hormones. I think you'll be
no.
fine.
TG Robbo was telling me about these drugs you can get these days
Okay.
where it can like save your hairline basically.
Yeah.
But one of the side effects he informed me was erectile dysfunction. So
Yeah. It's
a
not something I would mess with personally.
Things are
bit
Let's see what he
unsure about that. Not sure if it's totally worth the risk.
Do you always need an erection though?
I
No.
don't always need one though.
It's very,
There's a
very
lot of
dependent
times
on
where
the location and the scenario.
You could argue sometimes you need an erection.
there's
Sometimes.
yeah.
I think
Sometimes you definitely
99%
want
of the
one.
time you don't need an erection. You've got to.
Well, yeah, unless you want to have, yeah, if you didn't want to have children, I guess you never need one. But it's nice to have them, isn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah, I suppose. Pros and cons.
I feel like it'll be awkward on camera if you're rock hard throughout the whole of Survivor Southampton.
Yeah, but you're just enjoying the game, aren't you?
Yeah, that's true.
Would it be awkward if you were always flaccid during Survivor Southampton?
Yeah, come on, Lenny. Let's finish eulogizing Max. I feel like there's a lot of good stuff we can compliment him on this season.
A good man, a great man,
The best of men.
the best of men, the worst of men.
I think definitely bringing the worst out of those other players on Merak in terms of getting them all aggy at Ruba. All of the pageantry.
Just great to hear in the background of other conversations where he's calling out for someone to speak to. There was one episode
Also infuriating to edit, by the way.
Heard the same
Why?
thing, but you were like, something like, "Does anyone want to speak to me?" And I heard it in like 3 different videos.
Yeah. That's the reason. Like, I remember at the time I was in the strategy session, I was just like, "Oh, this is gonna be such a pain to edit."
But you watch it; it's very funny. So I think it's okay.
I think for me, the confessionals definitely make up for any irritation that I.
Oh yeah, very good confessionals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a shame about the gameplay, really.
Although
Yeah.
it seems to be going fine until this round. I think losing Strath was maybe a warning sign, but as far as I was concerned, it seemed like you were still fine.
I think you would have been safe if Strafford stayed in. Realistically,
I think so.
could have made.
I mean, there were certainly
right
things that I could have done.
There wasn't a lot you could have done to save Strath, especially because Noel was going to play that idol anyway. I think all of the mistakes were very clearly made in this round. I think
just talking to someone at the start of this round probably could have, maybe would have saved you.
Okay, shall we get into potential episode titles and then fan corner? Obviously, you've seen when I've named the episode, but it was a close call. There are a lot of good ones in here, especially with Max heading out. There were a lot of good quotes on his way out. We had a few good ones from Stock. All right, so here are the ones that were just missing out, or it's not too late to change it if there's any really good ones. Is he someone you want in crunch time? We've got Big Dog's just so nimble. There
That was
was,
Oscar, wasn't
uh, I'm far too good in the challenges.
it?
Yeah, Lenny,
Me,
what did you
surely.
think of that when Max was not involved in any of the conversation? Just,
That was the vote before the merge as well, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting direction I took that.
Oh, this is what I was going to say earlier. So you're giving a confessional to Veronica, and you're just like, yeah, I'm feeling fairly confident. I think I've got Nolan Stock on my side. How many people are in this tribe? How many votes do you need? It's just three, right? And then Veronica's like, and then I like walk by, and I'm like, no, there's seven of you. You need four, and you're just like, oh, um, and then Veronica makes a comment about, oh, complicated counting. You're like, oh, it's not that difficult, and then I think you say, that's not maths, that's basic vision.
The
We've also got the lone peacock.
lone peacock. Who's the lone peacock?
Leave you with the lone peacock, surely.
No, I don't. I don't remember saying that. Or did somebody describe me as the lone
No,
peacock?
you said it about yourself. When,
Really?
when everyone was talking in their groups and you were just on your own, you're like, the lone peacock. I think the whole quote was, it's a lonely road for the lone peacock. And then the last quotes I've got, you shouldn't swim against the tide, and the old TG Robbo.
The old TG Robbo.
Famous man.
Famous.
In a normal episode, most of these would have been the episode title, but we were spoilt in this one.
Spoiled for choice.
All right, shall we take a quick trip to Fan Corner?
Yes.
Okay. What is fan corner?
So Fan Corner is it's just a cross section of the fan responses that we've had from the episode this week. I've collated a mixture of opinions and takes about the events that have happened from the general fandom. It's not me though. It's not me. The important thing is it's not my opinions.
I showed my Spanish teacher these videos, and she said they were really good.
Hey.
So
There you go.
she hasn't commented on them.
Okay, shall we do Fan Corner? Because we've only got 2.5 minutes before it's going to kick.
Oh, okay. I've got a salsa lesson in an hour, and I haven't eaten yet. So
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Good time.
Last 2 minutes. Easy.
Yeah. Well, we bash out Fan Corner and then the tease for next week. Okay. All right. No fun little winners entrance scene for shame. Yeah, I can't remember if there was one.
It's because we were downstairs already.
Oh yeah, because Merak lost the last one. Yeah, that's fair. Divya, that was slick there. Good for you. Oh, this is presumably in the disc jousting. All right. Props to Divya. Lenny and Noel can't go 10 seconds without causing mayhem. Very nice. That was probably you throwing your bottle, Lenny. Big Dog versus Oscar was the funniest, apparently.
David versus Goliath. That.
where are these comments?
They're on my phone.
Oh, okay.
That's where it's all compiled there.
But who made these comments and when? Is this just things people said?
Yeah, it's just
At
word
the
on the
time.
street. Things people say to me, messages I get, all that kind of thing. I'm really going to have to speed through this. Okay. Isaac coming in hot on this challenge. Yeah, a lot of people hyped for Isaac. Isaac did particularly well there. Definitely tougher for Ruba to compete here with so few players. Lenny, in a word, was it harder or easier that you had so few players? Because you were getting practice, but I mean, you were shit. But
Well, yeah. Luckily, we had 3 good players apart from me, so
Yeah.
I guess easier in that regard.
oh, people notice you all falling into the hole when you were hugging Lenny. All of Ruba.
Yeah, embarrassing.
All right, Holly going for the jugular immediately. Like, who the fuck didn't stick to the plan? Noel justifiably feeling pretty good now. Ben and Holly both seem so twitchy and nervous. The eliminated lads just providing a sitcom laugh track behind Ben and Max. It's so funny. I'll be gutted to see Max gone. He's great. Yeah, I think you're definitely a fan favorite, Max, especially with some of the players having already seen the season 1.
It's a shame.
Yeah, you definitely came in with a different vibe to what you had in season 1.
No, I was completely different. Yeah, I think somewhere in the middle of those two is the perfect version of me in the game. But
Yeah, you said at the time, Max, that you felt like you felt much guiltier about voting people out this time.
yeah, in the first instance, I didn't know people that well, and because of that, the relationships I formed in the game were more genuine, I think. Whereas this time I knew people, and I brought that knowledge into the game without seeing it as a clean slate.
Billy is right to throw in with Sock, Noel, Oscar rather than Holly, Ben, Max, I think. Yeah, I think potentially. I mean, I think everyone on Merak was just like, fuck it, I'll just write any name down as long as it isn't me. I just want to get to the merge. I think that was the vibe over there. Ben, Noel is in for the long haul a lot surer than you are right now. Some shade towards Ben. He was probably trashing Noel in a confessional at the time. Oh, here's one for you, Max. I'd be more entertaining. Yes, you would, Max. Yes, you would.
Okay, a man of the people.
Holly really blew that with Max. Holy shit! Oh yeah, have we addressed this? How I think we glossed over it briefly when Holly was just like, "Yeah, Max, it's looking like it's going to be a landslide against you." Oh, there's some people over there I can talk to. Leaves the shop and then comes back just like, "Yeah, it turned out they're in a group of 3 already."
Yeah. Be on the awkward side.
Love that everyone is backing Strath on redemption here. Yeah, I mean, I remember in the episode I was just like, I don't understand why they voted off Strath. Like, surely he's going to come back and be pissed at them. So that's why I was asking. I just kept asking about Strath at Tribal. Great title line. Yeah, I mean, we spoiled for choice this episode, as we said. Solid Riptide advice there from Sock.
Okay, let's ignore that one.
Yeah,
I don't think it was
the fans.
Good advice. Oh, and finally, Billy's follow-up water pun in the confessional was elite. Good lad. Good news for the fans that enjoy water puns, because there's a few more of those.
Oh no! Oh no!
But yeah, that's it with this week's Tryptophan Corner. Lenny and Max, next week we have the Redemption Challenge. We see maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe even 7 players all return to this game. Right, it's fewer than 7. But we have players returning to this game in anticipation for the merge. We also have a special little surprise, which I teased in the next episode. We have the return of the Survivor auction.
Wow, no way. No flipping way, bro.
Oh!
Max, you go first. What can the fans expect from the Redemption Challenge?
The Redemption Challenge. The Redemption Challenge.
They can expect that. They can
expect a little bit of redemption.
I think one for your fans of combinatorics. A lot of
combinatorics. Counting, sliding, and searching through a list of names. If you like those 3 things, you're going to have one hell of a time.
I mean, that serves it, doesn't it?
If you like seeing people running up and down stairs, I mean, the main thing is we see a little bit more of a little more action from Max. So just because he's out of the game doesn't mean that he's fully done. He might even come back, but even if he doesn't, we get to enjoy him in at least one final challenge, and alongside all of our other eliminated players, apart from Slaw. Lenny, do you want to tease up the Survivor auction? I mean, first of all, hype because we get players back in the game. Then we get the merge itself. But Survivor auction, Lenny?
Yeah, I'd say a big one for fans of the Mr. Men.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, a few strategic related prizes won as well. A couple that might just be advantages in the game, but also some that might be advantageous strategically in the game. Some valuable strategy time. Maybe it has crucial effects that go throughout the season.
Exactly. A ripple in the current.
Yeah, all right. Lenny, Max, any further thoughts on this particular episode or Max, in your experience in general?
Yeah, looking back, I would have liked to stay in the game. I think I should have taken it more seriously.
Right. Got anything to say to all the fans out there, Max?
Thanks for your support, guys. I think without your support, I would have lasted even less. So I feel it. I really feel it.
All right. Lenny, you got anything else for us this week?
No, that'll do.
All right. Well, yes, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks a lot for joining us, Max. Enjoy your salsa class.
Oh, thank you.
Goodbye, Max.
Love you, Max.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me. Till the next time.
Enjoy Colombia.
Season 3.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right, I may as well go too. So, you know.
Yeah.